Hey guys, it's Beej from Complete Developer Podcast here, doing my final project for class. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you've seen my homework assignments. We have to record a video and post it to YouTube for our homework, showing us using or doing the task that we're told to code for. For this project, we had to create a uh, interactive system for inventory management for a bookstore. And so I'm going to kind of go through the requirements here. I've got it over on the screen to my side here. So if you see me looking over that way, that's what I'm doing. So first off, functional requirements. It has to manage a catalog of publications, books, and journals. That means search by title, view all publications, and then get the minimum, the maximum, and the average price that the bookstore is selling the book. And I also added in getting the minimum, maximum, and average cost of the book to the bookstore. Then we also had to have a user interface that allowed for transactions, meaning ordering new publications for the bookstore and sale of current publications. Now, the professor also mentioned having a bank account in here. He actually had like a bank with multiple accounts. That was just a little bit much. A bookstore doesn't like a bookstore management app doesn't care about your savings account in the bank. It cares about the account that it talks to put money into and take money out of. So I just created one bank account for that to make it a little bit more realistic. That wasn't a requirement that he gave us for that. It was just sort of a suggestion. So what this does is it'll allow you to view total in the account, like how much money you have there, and then see a list of transactions. Some non-functional requirements that we had to have. Had to have classes, had to have like a copy, parameterized, and default constructor. I put those in where they made sense. I didn't add them in where they weren't necessary or they didn't belong, like in obviously not in abstract classes or anything, but classes must also have accessors and mutators for key parameters. Now that's for the key parameters. There's some in here that, you're not going to adjust the number on a linked list. So I didn't give you a set for that. Also, inheritance, association, pure virtual functions, and abstract classes all in here. And I've got two linked lists of objects available for our use. So, looking at the code here, there we go. Actually, let me pull that back up. Some of the basic functionalities is starts off, it creates a bookstore. And this information, I just kind of want to note here that you would normally get like pull from a database or some type of long-term data storage to get like the information about the bookstore and the current catalog. But since we don't have that, it wasn't part of this project. At the very beginning, it has you create that and also create the accounts with an initial deposit. That gives us a starting point to work from. Wasn't, like I said, it wasn't required how we built that, just that we had it. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm just having you create it each time you come in because this isn't for actual use. This is just, like I said, we would be pulling that information. Next, it allows for manipulation or of the catalog. So you can look at the current inventory. You can search the inventory by title. And you can also pull up a price report that gives you the average sale price of a publication and then the most and the least expensive prices, as well as the average cost of a publication to the bookstore and the most and least expensive costs per publication. Another functionality is a sale. What this does is it searches for publications to sell, enters the date of the transaction, has you deposit the price of that into the bank account, and then it removes the publication from the catalog. The opposite of that is an order. This is where you purchase a book for the bookstore, create a new publication, enter the data transaction, withdraw the money from the account, and add the publication to the catalog. And then the bank function outputs information on the bank account, such as the total in the account, name of the account, and it asks if you want to see the transactions. If you do, then it shows you them, not exactly line by line because there are multiple lines, but just one at a time, or will shows you a list of transactions. All right, so let's walk through this. Starting off, you create a bookstore. So hopping up here to our bookstore header. In that, you have a bank account and a catalog, and then a name and a location. So creating that bookstore, come in here, we say, hey, we're creating a new bookstore, get your name, get your location, and then we create a bank account. So let's hop over here to account. Account is a linked list. It has a name, account, not a count, but how many items are in the linked list, how many nodes, a count of nodes in the linked list, a total, this is how much money is in the account, and then the head, the first node in the linked list, which is a transaction, and a parameter list constructor and a destructor. So doing that, let's hop over here to account. And we see our parameter list constructor has us set these, like initiate. We get our account name, we enter the date, and then we give it an initial deposit. This is an amount. That creates a new transaction with the initial amount. We call it initial deposit, and then that is of type deposit. So let's look at transaction here since we're creating a new one of these. Transaction has an amount, description, a transaction type, a date, and a next transaction. And then here we have our default, parameterized, and copy constructors, our accessors here. Key point, there are no mutators on a transaction. Financial institutions don't change transactions. If something is wrong or they need to adjust something, they add a new transaction to reconcile the amount. Just saw a little typo here, so I'm going to fix it while we're in here in the comments. There we go. So we are back on account. We create that new transaction. We add to the total, which we remember we set at 0. Now it is whatever that initial amount was. And then we add to the count. So we come back here. There we have our new bank account. Then we come down and we create a new catalog. So a catalog header, it has a number and it is a linked list of publications. So here we go. And in our parameter list constructor here, default, we just set the number equal to 0 and the head equal to null because we will add those in a minute. Going back up here to bookstore. So now we have our bank account, our catalog, our name, and our location. But we're not done creating our bookstore. We still need items in that catalog. So we come down here and say, hey, do you want to enter a publication? Put it in this do while loop. So if you say yes, we'll catch it here and we will add from the catalog. If you say no, it completes the loop and goes down here. If you say anything else, you get an invalid entry. Try again. So going over here to catalog.add. So catalog.add. Here we go. : add. You can tell I'm a C# developer, not a C++ developer by just the terms I use. All right, so you come in here. This adds a publication. Speaking of publication, let's take a look at publication. Publication has a title, price, a cost, and a pub date. Publication is an abstract class. It has this pure virtual function here for its output. And it could either be a book. Actually, let's do the header for that. A book, which also has an author and an ISBN, or it could have be a journal. Again, let's look here, which has a volume and a number. And so uh, those inherit from or extend, if you're talking in the Java world, publication abstract class. So let's hop back over here. Yes, made the change to that. So there we go. Then we output our bookstore, which is kind of neat. I like the way I did this. So it says, welcome to the name of the bookstore, Interactive Inventory System, IIS. .NET developers will get that. Located at, and then it says your location. Kind of neat, kind of cool. I like it. Then we come down here into another one of these do while loops. This one's a bit bigger. We got a lot of options here, and it allows us to choose a function. I've kind of already gone through these functions. C for catalog, that takes you to the main function of the catalog. And if we scroll down to that, it's very similar here. We have another do while loop. Neat little thing here. I cleared the screen when we come over here. Kind of gives you that feel if you're moving to a different screen. It's kind of nice. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get in here. And so there is that. And here you can see the catalog, search the catalog, or pull your price report. Your sale. You have to give the exact title. That searches, gets the title, says, hey, is this the right publication? Yes. Move on. Assuming that if it's not null. If it does not find what you're looking for, it will return null here. If it is null, it will say it doesn't exist. Do you want to quit looking? I did this to reuse this confirm so I could have just one thing here in the while loop. Little memory management if we're talking the old days, or you're on something like an IoT kind of device or something like that. C++ is used a lot and stuff like that. Kind of nice. You can get down there and nitty gritty on it. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, so also this little thing right here, ran into some issues where with the input sometimes just causing a problem. So I had to put in some cn.ignores in a couple places. Usually it had to do with whenever there was a get line after a character. So, but all that said, so if you say yes, then the while, or if you say yes, the while loop quits. If it's null, you don't do anything. If it isn't null, then we enter a transaction date and you deposit that. We call the deposit function on the bank account, and the remove publication. Order does the opposite. First, we say, hey, are you ordering a book or a journal? Then we either add a new book or a new journal. Transaction date, create the transaction, which is a withdrawal because the bookstore is buying it. So we remove the money from the account and we add the publication to the catalog. And then here's our bank. We have output from the bank account, which is the name of the account and the total. Then we have a show transactions. So because you can have a lot of transactions, you could miss stuff. Like if you just want to get, hey, how much is in the bank account right now? So I set this aside and said, hey, if you want to see the transactions, you go into bank account, say, hey, yes, I want to see the transactions. And so we'll take a look at that in just a moment. And that's it. Notice also that this has the invalid entry, and each one you could do uppercase or lowercase, just, in case a user doesn't get what I mean by, hey, just use uppercase B. I'll take uppercase or lowercase. You guys ready to get into this? I know I've been talking for a little while now. So let's walk through this application. All right, creating a new bookstore. Let's call this BJ's Bookstore. We're going to be at 123 Main Street. Not street. Bank account information. We're going to call this checking. Year 2020. Month 0501. Mayday. Initial deposit. Let's give them $2,000 to start off with. Not a lot starting off a business, but you know, maybe we're a little kiosk or something. All right, enter initial catalog. Enter a publication into the catalog. I guess you guys can read this. Yes, we are. We're going to add a book. We're going to call it book. This will make it easier for us to look things up later. Cost. We're going to say this book is $9. The year. Book was published in 2001 on June 3rd. Author BJ Burns. ISBN. So ISBN is just a string of numbers and letters. I'm just going to type in a few here. That's not really an ISBN, but it'll get us what we need. Do we want to enter another one? Yes, let's enter 2. We'll also enter a journal. Journal's a little bit different. It doesn't have an author and an ISBN. Let's see what it has. We're going to call it journal. It's going to be $5. So an interesting thing, I'm entering the cost, how much it cost the bookstore to purchase it. The price is set in the program as 10% above the cost. So it takes the cost and adds 10% to it. Publication date. Let's do 1992. May 6th. Won't say why that's an important date, but we'll just go with it. Volume Jan through May. Number 27. Why not? No, we're not going to enter another publication. So here we are. Welcome to BJ's Bookstore Interactive Inventory System, IIS. I love it. Choose a function. Located at 123 Main Street. Choose a function. So let's take a look at our current catalog. C to C catalog. Hey, look at that. We've got the 2 entries we put. So let's S to search catalog. Let's search for book. What do we get? Hey, look at that. We get our book. Notice here, cost was $9. Price is 9.9. You know, adding 10%. It's a little markup to pay our people who work there. Not a big markup. And let's run our price report. Not going to see much here, but yeah. So we have average price. Yeah, if we had larger numbers, that'd be a little bit more, more difference between cost and price. All right, and then Q to quit. So let's sell a book. We're gonna sell. Nope. Not. Oh, hey, let's take a look at this. So we're doing the search function here. What happens if we type in something incorrect? Instead of book, we've got beak. Publication not found. Quit looking, yes or no? No, we'll keep looking. Book. All right. Here we are. Is this the correct publication? Yes. Enter transaction date. So 2020 501. All right, so let's recheck our catalog and let's search for book. Publication not found. Well, hey, let's look at the whole catalog. All we got is a journal. So let's quit that. Now let's take a look at our bank, see what happened there. Oh, look at that. We added $9.90. Let's see our transactions. Hey, hey. We have our initial deposit and our description book, the title, for our other deposit. So no, wait, we don't want to quit this. Let's order a replacement for book. So book, we're going to call this book volume 2. I'm doing that because I honestly don't remember the date that I put in for book. You know what? This is going to be 1295 or 05. I had the O instead of the 9. I wasn't looking. All right, 1205 for us. The year. Let's do 2012. Month 0302. Author. I spit myself. And just hit a bunch of keys for the ISBN. It doesn't matter. Transaction date 2020 05 01. Cool. So we just added a book. Let's check our catalog. And let's see. Book volume 2 right there. Oh, hey, while we're in here, let's run a price report. Look at that. We got a little bit of difference there now. All right, so now we'll quit. And we're going to go to bank. Yep, we spent a little bit of money. Let's take a look at our transactions. And there we go. 2 deposits and a withdrawal. And that is the system, y'all. Pretty neat. Kind of cool. A few automated things. I like it. There's like a lot more I'd like to have done with it, but just did not have the time to put as much into it. Hey, it's been a lot of fun this semester doing these challenges and talking to you guys. I think the last few I've been kind of stressed just with way too much stuff going on. Feeling easy now. Been not getting much sleep this week trying to get this thing coded and everything. There's a lot to it, and then I had to do like this whole UML diagram for it. Oh my, y'all, it was insane. All right, I'm going to hit Q to quit. And any key. There we go. But hey, it's been fun. Y'all stay safe. Wear your masks. Definitely stay in if you don't have to go out. Tip big when you do go out because your servers have been out of work or haven't been getting near as much business. So they definitely need it. Oh man. So it's been fun. Check us out on Complete Developer Podcast every Thursday. We publish a new episode. A lot of fun. My best friend that I've been doing this with, he's been a developer for over 20 years. He has a lot of experience. Helped me get into the industry about 5 or 6 years ago when I decided to make the transition. So check us out. It's a lot of fun, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of questions. So y'all stay safe and have a good one.